And a good evening, everyone, from Jerry Walsh Field, Sullivan Stadium here on the campus of Franklin High School in suburban Milwaukee. Welcome to WFA football on this very cool Saturday night. The Women's Football Alliance featuring your Minnesota Vixens and their opponent this afternoon or this evening, the Dragons of Wisconsin, meeting for the second of 3 times this season. The Vixen coming in with a record of 3 wins and no losses, and the Dragons 3 wins and 1 loss. Tonight's live broadcast of the Game of the Week brought to you by Town Square Television and Ritchie Media Group. You can follow the Vixen on Town Square Television this season on Comcast Channel 14, townsquare.tv, and on Facebook Live. And special thanks to all the community stations around the Twin Cities for their support of the Vixen. As Kaya Segula with a 40-yard return. The opening kickoff, tack on a penalty. They start this drive from the 26-yard line. Pass out of the flat to Segula. And Kaya across the 20 and down to the 15-yard line. Leading pass receiver for the Vixen, Kaya out of Plymouth, and UMD with their 14th catch of the season. As they go no huddle. It is second down from the Dragon 15-yard line. At the quarterback spot is Emily Evans. Evans back to pass, looking near side, end zone, and through the arms of Aaron Metzik. Help me out. McIsaac. All right, Aaron out of Minneapolis and the University of Minnesota. And that pass, Alex, wrong shoulder.
Yes, definitely the wrong shoulder. It's interesting to notice how the Vixen have been using the passing game here to start. Typically a run-heavy team, especially in the games that I've watched so far this season. Probably a good decision to go to that passing attack when you know that you have size and speed on the outside.
Pistol formation for the quarterback, Emily Evans, and we got flags on the play, illegal procedure, charge to the Vixen. That'll back him up 5, bring up third down at the 20-yard line. Evans at quarterback out of White Bear Lake, University of Wisconsin, River Falls. So second down, second down from the 25-yard line. As again, they work from the pistol formation. The running back is Jeanette Nelson. Give to Tank, tries the right side, breaks free, and then good pursuit by the defense. They bring her down as Lucretia Harvey out of Forest Park, Illinois. The linebacker spot brings down Tank for a loss of, gain of 4 on the play, third down from the 21-yard line. Jeanette Nelson out of Iroquois, South Dakota, coming in with 66 carries, 356 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Cool temperature tonight. What do we have? 49 degrees at game time. About 10 degrees warmer here in the press box. Thank you. Slot to either side on the right hip. There's Nelson. Back to pass is Evans. Pump fake out of the flat. And it's complete to Segula. And Kaya across the 15 and down to the 14-yard line. Her second catch this drive, which started again at the Dragon 40-yard line. Again, a 40-yard kickoff return. And Brian or Alex, you can answer this one. Segula, she their leading
she is
returner?
She is a rookie this year, and as far as receptions go, the first time these two teams met in week 3, Segula actually had 5 receptions for 86 yards. So she's just picking right up where she left off in that season.
Well, one of the things that Segula can do, too, is when you give her the time and the space, especially on that kickoff and on the first completion to start this drive, when you give her time and space, she's going to be able to carry the ball up the field, and the Vixen will keep feeding her all night.
And the Vixen are going to go for it on fourth down. We're missing the services of Captain Muller on the PAT. Empty backfield, and Emily pass across the middle, and it is tipped away. Thrown to double coverage and broken up by Katrina Steffes out of New Berlin, Wisconsin. Incomplete pass for Emily. 23 of 47 this year in the pass department. And so the ball goes over on downs. And the Dragons have the first possession of this ball game. 12:02 to go in a scoreless first quarter. Well, Dragons, go ahead.
Well, a couple of options there that they had, a couple of slants, moving in from left to right there to try to get that shot in. But unfortunately, just a little behind on that pass. but defended well, too, by Wisconsin.
Kelly Washington is the quarterback. She does pretty much everything out of Lakeville, Illinois. Slot to the far side and a flanker to the near side. They have a tight end on the near side. Washington back to pass. Floats it downfield looking for Caitlin Krug. And it's broken up there by Caitlin Hill. Hill out of Minneapolis and went to St. Ben's up there in St. Joe. Incomplete pass for Kelly Washington, 33 of 85 passing this year. And she has thrown for 8 touchdowns. She has 7 picks, 427 yards. So second down and a 10 from the, 14-yard line. All black for the Dragons. Trips to the near side. Flank to the far side. Again, the running back is Nicole Matheson. Kelly Washington with a long count, looking at that 3-4 defense for the Vixen. Pass on the flat. Screen pass complete to Katrina Steffes. Steffes across the 15, 16, maybe the 17-yard line. Finally brought down in the secondary by the Vixen. Into the staff was Jocelyn Nelson out of Bethel College, and I can say proudly, went to school at Oxford University.
There you go.
Third down for the Dragons.
Excellent awareness there on that play, too, by the Vixen, noticing there was a bubble screen out to the near side here, and they had Vixen there immediately to stop that from becoming a big gain.
Again, the Dragon going from right to left with the wind at their back here in the first quarter. Again, 3 receivers set to the far side, and the near side is Krug. Kelly Washington with the long snap, waiting for the snap from Kelly Rohr. Skerrick throws downfield, incomplete. Pass intended. Actually, I don't know who it was intended for because there was no black uniforms in the area.
Probably see the
on fourth down, they'll have to punt it away. Again, this is the game of the week on Town Square Television. Again, I'm Tom Wirchin, joined tonight by the talents of the announcer guy, Brian Sweeney. His resume is too long to go into. And Alex Westhead, another member of our broadcasting crew. The punter is Mary Ellen Six. She's a wide receiver by trade. She's from Chicago, Illinois. Fourth down, 7 from the 17-yard line. Good snap. And Mary Ellen gets the kickoff. And Tilford's going to watch it. Bounce, takes a Dragon bounce. She picks it up, drops it, picks it back up again. And goes 45, wide side of the field, 50, 45, Dragon territory, 40, 35. Still on her feet, down the sidelines. Good picket fence, 20, 15. And Tilford down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. So special teams for the Vixen have set them up in good field position for both drives.
Well, a second kick return there, too, for the Vixen, where they're just able to find that outside edge, and the Dragons weren't moving as well laterally across the field to get over and make coverage there. So another huge gain, and for the second time, excellent field position, now starting inside the 15 of Wisconsin. You want to look and see if the Vixen can get some points here.
Offensive line for your Vixen, Sarah Sturr and Devin Pasternak are the tackles. Taylor Fox and Hannah Martin are the guards, and Maria Beck is the center. Defensively for the Dragons, Nicole Felsky, Nancy Biker, and Lakeisha Robinson up front. And they go with 4 linebackers, Lucretia Harvey, Mary Ellen Six, Jasmine Watt, and Kirsten Madison. And the Vixen break kettle up to the line of scrimmage. They go slot to either side. The pistol formation looks like Grace is in there. Gracie Cooper is now the running back. Evans gives to Cooper up the middle off the left side, 10. And Gracie inside the 10 and down to the 7, maybe the 6-yard line. Again on the stop was Lucretia Harvey. And it'll bring up second down.
Love that burst from Cooper right out of the box. Gets that gain up the middle. Love to see that from the Vixen.
Second down and 3 from the 7-yard line. And I believe the Dragon have called timeout with 9:58 to go. Here in the first quarter, again, we have no score coverage of this game of the week. Here on Town Square Television, sponsored in part by Blue Frame Technology, the premier end-to-end streaming provider for sports organizations across the United States, with over 600 clients in NCAA Division I, Division II, and Division III conferences, and other sports leagues as well. More info about Blue Frame's end-to-end solution for production, management, and distribution for video streaming is available at blueframetech.com. And these two teams played 3 times last year. The last time, I believe, was in the playoffs. The Vixen won all 3, but the Dragons did, go 5-3 last year?
Yes, that is correct. Dragons went 5-3 last year. They're already continuing that on this year with their hot start this season. Grace Cooper on that last play. This is only Grace's second game of this season. She was unable to dress for the first 2 games due to an injury. She had off-season surgery, so it's great to see her back here this year already. And last game, she came right out and had 44 yards, so she's picking right up today.
Yeah, 8 carries, 44 yards for Cooper. Again, slot to either side. Ball right in the middle of the field. Evans gives to Cooper, right side 5 to the goal line, just short. Again, just cut down, this time by Mary Ellen Six, the middle linebacker out of Chicago, Illinois. But Cooper has the Vixen knock it on the door, and that'll be a first down and goal from the 1-yard line.
Well, you love that protection on the offensive line that the Vixen are giving all of the running backs, whether it's Nelson, whether it's Cooper. They're giving them space to run right up the middle, and that's going to be a huge impact in this game is if you can create space and win that line of scrimmage battle.
And up again, Cooper to seal the deal. Yes! Up the right side of our offensive line, Martin Pazdanik with a nice wide open hole as Grace has scored her first touchdown of the season. The Vixen take a 6-0 lead. This drive took all of about a minute and 50 seconds. Now it's going to be interesting to see who's going to do the PAT. It looks like Katie is out there. Katie Murphy. Connor Lewis will hold. Looking for the point after. Again, Catherine Muller not dressed today. Good snap. Connor puts it down. Line drive kick through the uprights. Yes. And time out of the field to score the Vixen 7. And the Dragons nothing. And that was a 3-play drive. They went 14 yards after that great punt return by Aaron Tilford. 3 plays, and Cooper that seals the deal, taking the last 3 carries into the end zone, her first touchdown of the season.
Yeah, it's great to see Grace back out on the field. Last season, she was a workhorse for this team, and to have her out there playing the way she's playing after surgery is just phenomenal. I mean, she had to have that surgery on her leg in the offseason, and she spent plenty of time in the gym getting herself prepared, getting herself back online. And, I mean, this is your first time, Alex, getting to watch Grace, because when we were in Kansas City together, she was on the sidelines.
Well, it's incredible what she's been able to do, too, even with only a couple of carries so far here in this one. As soon as she gets the ball, she's up the field. And when that offensive line, like we saw in that last drive, the touchdown and the play before it, when there's that much space, that's a runner's daydream right there.
And looks like Katie's going to kick off from left to right, and a very short kick. And Mary Ellen Six will take it to the 30. And second line on the return teams gives some ground, gets 35 and out to the 37-yard line. Good open field tackle for the Vixen. And in on the stop, Aaron's doing everything. Aaron Tilford on the stop for the Vixen, and Dragons their second possession of the ballgame. And Brian, quickly, these two teams met here a few weeks ago. And how did that game go for us?
That game was a great game. Obviously, Minnesota came out that game and ran the ball with 235 total yards. Wisconsin had 137 yards in the air, but only 52 yards on the ground. So we're going to look to see Wisconsin continue to throw the ball.
Mentioned Nelson, Bryant, and Swanson up front for the Vixen on that 3-4 defense. Kelly Washington out of the shotgun. There's the running back on her right hip. That's Matheson. Washington gets the snap, fakes the hand up, coming wide near side, quarterback option. Turns the corner, 35 out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Run out of bounds there by Chrissy Swanson out of Hopkins. But also, she went to high school for the Superlarks, Grand Meadow, down along Highway 16 down there in southeast of Minnesota. Washington carrying the ball, 28 carries, 208 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns on the season. Second down and 9 for the Dragon at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, Washington was their lead rusher in that game against Minnesota previously this year, also with 12 carries and 52 yards. So she's their ground game.
Slot to either side, ball pretty much on the near hash mark. It's Washington again with the long count. Gets a snap, 3-step drop, throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for Caitlin Krug in that slot out of New Berlin, Wisconsin. Again, I'm Tom Wirchin, and joined by Alex Westhead, and you and Brian had a chance to do that Kansas City game. Now, the Titans They're in Division I, correct?
That is correct. They're in the Division I along with 4 other football teams. And again, when you look at the Vixen, a team that theoretically could be in Division I based on the quality of play that they have, and especially when we've seen on this drive too, is as they're trying to run the ball, they're really moving well laterally where the runs to the outside aren't fooling the Vixen defense, and they haven't been able to break out for a big gain.
And the Vixen throw 5 in the box. And they play pretty much a 3-4. As Washington on 3rd and long. Again, 3-step drop, pumps, pulls it down, heads to the corner. 40, 45 midfield, 50 and out of bounds inside Vixen territory. Run out of bounds by Amanda Atkins from her safety spot out of Farmington High School, or Farmington, Minnesota, with Prior Lake High School. And that'll be a first down for the Dragons. Their first down of the ball game inside Vixen territory at the 49-yard line.
Well, it's a pretty well-designed pass play, too, an intended pass play to my belief, that pulled all the defensive coverage over to the right side of the field, and an excellent job by the quarterback, Washington, to see that, recognize it, and take it off to the left side.
Again, they go slot to either side as Kerry Washington on first down inside Vixen territory. As Lucretia Harvey as her running back. Washington to pass downfield. Looking for Krug. Caitlin can't get to it again. Good defense there by Caitlin Hill from her defensive back spot. She and Amy McGuss are the corners on that Vixen defense. The safeties are Atkins and Annie Tyson. But an incomplete pass. Second down for the Dragon inside Vixen territory. 7:30 to go. First quarter. 7-0 in favor of the Vixen.
Well, that Hill-Krug matchup is going to be one to watch here. Caitlin Hill on the hip of the receiver. Pretty much every pass play that I've seen Wisconsin throw so far. So we'll see if they can create some separation. Otherwise, that's going to be a tough throw all night.
And now Nicole Matheson, normally running back, she's flanked to the far side, Krug to the near side. Now she'll go in motion across the formation. And it ends up being slot to either side on a 2nd and long for the Dragons, going right to left, east to west here at Jerry Walsh Field. As Washington back to pass again, looking far side, throws, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for Caitlin Krug, and it's incomplete, brings up 3rd down and 10 from the Vixen 49-yard line. The game's going on in Division II tonight. The New York Wolves are at Baltimore. The Pittsburgh Passion are at the Cleveland Fusion. Mentioned the Vixen and the Dragons, and St. Louis, the Slam, are at Kansas City. The Titans tonight. In 10 teams, or Christian, 18 teams in Division II. The Vixen 3-0, the Dragons 3-1. Trips to the near side this time for Washington on 3rd and 10. Vixen, the blitz off the corner, pass out of the flat, complete to Steffes, and across the 45-40, and down to the 35-yard line. Screen pass to the near side, and on the step was Amanda Atkins. But on the screen pass, the Dragon pick up their second first down of the ballgame. First down and 10 at the Vixen 35-yard line. 14-yard pickup.
Well, a couple of broken tackles there gave the Dragons an opportunity to move the ball up the field on that rush, where you could have had them stop for maybe a 4-yard gain there, but unfortunately that broken tackle. But you love the pursuit of Atkins to get over there and bring him down.
Washington now with Mary Ellen 6 in the backfield. Kelly high snap, pulls it down, being rushed off of the corner, and now throws away in desperation, and it's caught. But there's a flag on the play. Again, a high snap. Washington pulled it down, threw across her body. Pretty much I got to get rid of it. The Vixen had the rush, and she had 3 defenders closing in on her. Now let's wait and see what the flag is.
Well, with the Vixen moving back, I think it's probably going to be on them.
And it is a penalty against the Vixen, their second penalty of the ballgame. What was it, 5-yard, what?
That would have been offsides.
Offside, encouragement, okay.
Or neutral zone infraction, I guess the signs are the same.
Tight end is Nicole Pinsky on that right side. Otherwise, a 4-receiver set on first down. First down and 5 now from the 30-yard line. And the give, cutting back on the cutback, is Lucretia Harvey. And Harvey, her 9th carry of the season, 18 yards, but picks up another Dragon first down, their 3rd first down on this drive, which started at their own 37-yard line. 1st and 10, Wisconsin, with 5:39 to go and a 7-0 first quarter. All at the 19-yard line. Go ahead.
This is extremely uncharacteristic of Minnesota. Usually their defense can come out on the field and they can read the offense fairly quick and they make adjustments on the fly. So the fact that we've already seen the Dragons move this far down the field is not something that we're used to seeing with this Minnesota defense.
Washington, play action out of the flat, complete to Steffes, and she is dropped immediately. May have lost a yard on the play, and there she is again. We called her name, Caitlin Hill, coming up from her cornerback spot to put the stop on. A loss of 1 on the play, second down at 11.
On the other hand, Brian, that's exactly what we're used to seeing, where they were moving the ball up the field, but this time they rebounded and made that stop. Coming off of a shutout against Kansas City a week ago, you really want to see this defense hold that ground and keep that shutout going for as long as they can.
And Kelly has a conference with the coaching staff on the near sideline. Carlos Jones is their head coach in his first year. He's an assistant coach in Chicago prior to this. So second down, 11 for the Dragons, trailing 7-0, 4.5 to go here in the first quarter. Washington and the give, and Lucretia Harvey, and the pursuit is there, coming off that far side, putting the stop on.
Well, Allison Klenke gets back there on the sack. A number of other Vixen in there too, but again, that's where you feel like Washington has been throwing the ball so quickly to the point where she doesn't have that time, and with that, Klenke's able to get back there and bring her down for a huge loss.
Yeah, you have to throw Alex into the lurch here. The voice is going.
It's a Wisconsin air.
Third down at 16 on the loss on the play. Apologize for the voice. Washington gets the snap, rolling near side. Quarterback option, pulls it down 30 and out of bounds at the Vixen 25-yard line. And pretty much at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard pickup, 4th down.
You know, once again, Washington's already coming out, and she's the leading rusher of this game already. That's her 3rd carry, so she's deciding how she wants to control the game, and she's going to keep that up throughout the game, much like she did the last time these teams met.
You're certainly looking here at a 4-15 too. You're going to look for an air attack, and knowing that, you may see her keep the ball, give the defense some time to push back and follow receivers if they play man, and then you may see her run for the first down if she can get there.
Laura Galise Diaz comes out and Katrina Steffes comes in and a wide out. Slot to either side on 4th down. The Dragons going for it from the Vixen 25-yard line. Straight drop. Washington out of the flat. High pass, and it's incomplete. Defending over on that far side was Ann Tyson. From her safety spot, the ball will go over on downs to the Vixen. Clock shows 2:34 to go.
And that pass was intended for number 6, Mary Ellen 6, and that was actually the first time she's been a target this game. So I personally, I would have thrown it to Steffes. You're 3 for 3 when you're throwing her the ball so far, and that would have been a better target in my opinion.
Mentioned the Vixen and the Dragons will play one more time back home at Kuhlman Stadium at Edina High School out there on Highway 100 later on this season. Last year they played 3 different times. The last time was in the playoffs. Emily Evans at the controls. 2 to either side. Who's the running back? Looks like Belvina's in there. Belvina McGrath out of Rochester, RCTC. In motion is Mary Ellenberg, the tight end. And on the counter, the give to Melina. And across the 28, maybe the 29-yard line. And we noticed, Brian, in warm-ups, no appearance by Janessa White. Mary Ellen.
Yeah, I've still been looking for her on the sidelines, and I haven't seen her. I'm privy to the official game roster, and I honestly didn't pay that close of attention to where her name was, so I might have to look that up during halftime, see if I can figure out what's going on there.
Mary Ellenberger out of St. Paul, went to Indiana, her college. Akiza comes out of the ball game, had a wide out. Segula to the near side, Ellenberger in the slot. Evans out of the shotgun formation, and on the handoff, straight ahead, and nothing doing, line of scrimmage, and that's about it for Belvina. And that defense by the Dragons, Steph in the middle. He does third down, and let's go on 4 at the Vixen 29-yard line. Grace Cooper took one in from about 1 yard out. 3 straight carries for Grace, giving the Vixen the first lead of the ball game. But again, special teams, kickoff return, punt return, set up the Vixen in great field position. Tilford and Segula to the near side. Ellenberger is in the slot, the tight end spot. As Evans back to pass, pumps once, throws over the middle, and it's almost picked off and caught. Did she catch that?
She did catch that.
My good Mary Ellenberger with a great catch. There were 2 Dragons in the vicinity. Somehow she threaded the needle, and the pass completion out to the 33-yard line. Still brings up 4th down, but 4th down and 2. That's a tough 2-yard pickup.
Well, when you have the experience that Evans has, you certainly know you're on the same page with your receivers, and you have the confidence to go into a throw with coverage like that and know that you are going to be able to put it in that thin area that you need to throw it in.
Well, Jeanette Nelson is the punter. And no, they're going to go for it on 4th down. 4th down and 2 from the Vixen 33-yard line. Pistol formation. Give to Tank. First down, 35, 40, 45. Midfield, pulls away. Stiff arms a person. 30, still on her feet to the 25, 20, 15, 10. Jeanette Nelson scores her 6th rushing touchdown of the season as she goes 67 yards, and the Vixen take a 13-0 lead.
Well, Brian, we saw a play exactly like this in Kansas City, except this time she scores on it. When she can get free, she has that ability to keep moving and trudging forward to try and get into the end zone. She was able to do so there. Excellent run by Nelson on a 4th and 2.
It was a great change from what we saw in Kansas City there. The biggest advantage here is her blockers stayed behind her, and they were able to keep the defense from catching up to her, which made that field wide open for Tank to make it all the way to that end zone for those 6.
And is that the end of the first quarter? Okay. They're going to try the PAT 75-yard drive, 4 plays, 2:34 off the clock. Again, Nelson takes it in from 67 yards. Lewis will hold. Murphy will attempt the PAT. It's up, and it is good. Time out of the field to score. The Vixen 14, and the Wisconsin Dragons nothing. That's the end of the first quarter. This is the game of the week on Town Square Television. Again, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, one by Grace Cooper, the other one by Jeanette Nelson, the 2-headed running back attack. And we'll be right back from Franklin, Wisconsin after this. And again, we're back. Jerry Walsh Field, Sullivan Stadium on the campus of Franklin High School here in suburban Milwaukee, within shouting distance, maybe 7 miles from Miller Park. Thought we'd make a stop there tomorrow, but the Brewers are on the road. Are they taking on the Cubs this week?
They're in Chicago. My son and I were watching them in our hotel room before we came over to the field. They went into extra innings. Don't know the final score, but they were in the 11th inning when we left.
Actually, Miller Park did have baseball today. I stopped by there earlier this afternoon. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee hosting Oakland University. Some college action.
I saw your pictures on Twitter.
And a short kickoff picked up by one of the upmet. And going near side on the return is Lori Galise-Diaz out of Milwaukee. Again, a very short kickoff. And the Dragons will start this drive, the first play of the second quarter. And again, it is 14-0 in favor of the Vixen. They won the first game back home. by a score of, was 35-6.
Well, and for this only being the second road game for the Vixen, when you looked at that first quarter down in Kansas City, it was a little bit sloppy at the start. And then you look at how they've played here in the first quarter, very method organized. They're ready to go from the opening snap. You love how the Vixen have come out here in this first quarter.
Kelly Washington remains at the controls as she works out of the shotgun formation, 2 to either side. Running back is Harvey. And back to pass, Kelly Washington downfield, and may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. We got a defensive tackle, Lisa Huthchild, down. A little slow in getting up on the incomplete pass. Second down for the Dragon in their own territory from the 34-yard line. The Dragon after today, they take on the Grand Rapids, Tidal Waves, the Iowa Phoenix, and then the Minnesota Vixens to close out the regular season.
You know, that was Washington's 6th attempt to Krug, and they have yet to connect on a completion this game. So we obviously see that that's her favorite receiver. She just needs to lay it in her hands.
New wide out there. As I mentioned, Abigail Livingston out of Sussex, Wisconsin. She's wide to the near side as Kelly Washington on second down. And now the give to Harvey, and good pursuit by the Vixen. Down they go. Jocelyn Nelson leads the charge for the Vixen and lost in the play. Cynthia Bryant helping out on the tackles. The Vixen gang tackle Lucretia and a loss back to the 30-yard line. Third down and 14.
Well, great awareness by the defensive line to disengage from the tackles and be able to get out and move the line of scrimmage off to the right to keep the running back from moving forward up the field.
And Tom, you're a member of the Vixen team now, so Cynthia goes by Red. Let's
okay.
just call her Red.
Okay. What did you say she was? She's been a member.
This is her 21st year. She's played every year since the 1999 Barnstorming Tour with the Lake Michigan Minks and the Minnesota Vixens, where they toured the Upper Midwest.
Third and long for Washington. Back to pass, looking near side, throws out on the flat, and it's incomplete. Downfall pass intended for Lucretia Harvey. Defending on the play was Madison Schmutz out of Waconia, went to Roseville High School. And incomplete, fourth down from the Wisconsin Dragons 20-yard line. The Vixen, they will be back home at Coleman Stadium next week taking on the Iowa Phoenix, and then the big game at St. Louis. And they're going to punt it away, bobbled, and having to pull it down. Now the kick. And end over end, a very short. Tilford's going to let it bounce inside Vixen territory. Now back upfield, come back to the 50. Yes, touchdown. Trying to get that punt off. Caitlin Krug, she bobbled a snap, then tried to go soccer style. And she did get it off, but only picked up about a 30-yard punt with the roll. And it is Vixen ball. 13-42 to go.
Well, number 72, Hauschild for the Dragons. If she went to stop that ball there, Vixen would have started in Dragons territory. So she saw the direction that ball was going and said, "I've had enough of this," and touched the ball. Let's get the team back out there on defense and see if they can stop Minnesota.
And 4 receivers set. Cooper now on the slot to the near side. As Evans, Emily out of the shotgun formation. 6 in the box for the Dragons. Here they come. Evans a throw, and it's going to be underthrown and almost picked off. Closest person to the ball was Katrina Steffes. Again, the pressure by the Dragons coming off the corners and up the middle, and Emily, I think she threw it before she wanted to.
Well, I think Wisconsin was getting into the backfield to try and force Emily to throw that just a little bit sooner than she wanted to. Coverage upfield was pretty good as well, and it could have been dangerous, as I don't think any of the Vixen realized that ball was thrown until it was too late.
Maria Beck, she's the center, leads them up the line of scrimmage. She's out of Weber State. Evans this time out of the pistol formation, and the give to Nelson. Jeanette, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, and out of bounds near the 25-yard line. Last time she touched the ball, she went 67 yards, And that time she went about 20 more.
Well, it's amazing how Nelson just gets the outside and is able to break tackles, because I think the Dragons are tackling too low. By the time that they make contact, they're around the knees or lower, and when you try to tackle somebody, you have to go right at the waist and try to use your weight to bring that person down, and it's not working for Wisconsin.
Tank gets the ball again, has 5, maybe 6 yards off the right side of her offensive line. Jeanette Nelson closing in on 100 yards rushing here in the first half, and we still have 13 minutes to go. It'll be 2nd down and 4 from the Dragon.
She had 106 yards the last 2 times these teams met, and she wants to beat that, obviously.
Now, where does she stand in the terms of Division II? I'm making him work.
Yeah, I have it. I just got to find which sheet it's on is what actually my problem is.
I think as we were talking in pregame, I heard 5th in Division II.
Fifth in Division II, I think you're right. I got the wrong sheet in my hand, but I have it here. I'll get it before the next time she touches the ball.
2nd down, 4. Here comes the rush again. Evans a throw across the middle. Pass intended for Cooper, and it was incomplete.
Well, you get
the pattern over the middle and through the hands of Grace Cooper. Flag on the play. Go ahead.
You'll get the entire Wisconsin defensive line for offsides there. They all jumped early. Excellent cadence by Evans to draw them offsides. You would have liked to have seen a little bit more with the free play, but again, excellent job by Evans to draw them offside.
Dragons with their 2nd penalty of the ball game. The Vixens have been flagged twice in this contest. Clock shows 12:20 to go here in the first half. Our game of the week on Town Square Television. UNWICHE Sharon County, Alex Wested, and Brian Sweeting. Riding shotgun here tonight, the 3-headed monster. And the Silver Fox, Tom Ritchie, is our director tonight. 1st down. Evans the pass, looking near side, looking for Kaya, and it's through her hands and incomplete. Her back shoulder fade, and Kaya turned the wrong way. The ball went over her shoulder, incomplete pass. 3rd down from the 19-yard line.
Well, she got separation from the cornerback there, too, and that would have been a highlight reel catch had Kaya gotten onto that one. But, again, just an excellent decision to try to throw when she recognized separation on the near side.
Correction, 2nd down. Give to Nelson. Jeanette to the 10-yard line, across the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Jeanette Nelson off the right side of her offensive line. Martin and Pazdernick and others.
Well, and that was Jeanette's 5th carry of the game, which actually is her ranking in the Division II.
Okay.
She's 5th in the league with 356 yards rushing going into tonight's game.
3rd down and 3 for the Vixen at the 12-yard line, leading 14-0. Still 11:22 to go here in the first half. They continue to work from the slot, or from the shotgun formation. Evans throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Looked off the right side, looked off the left side, then threw it over the middle. And an incomplete pass brings up 4th down from the 12-yard line.
I thought for sure we were going to see a dose of Tank there on the last 6 carries for Nelson. She's had 104 yards just in those since that touchdown rush. So I would have thought that we would have seen a little Tank there.
Incomplete pass. Now they start up the clock again. Zagula to the far side, Cooper to the near side. And who do we have for running back? It's Nelson in the backfield. Evans the give to Tank, right side, 10, cuts back, 5, goal line, touchdown, number 7. Jeanette Nelson goes in from 12 yards out, his 2nd rushing touchdown. The Vixen now take a 20-0 lead.
It's amazing when you see Tank get that ball, whether it's a stiff arm, whether it's a spin around a defensive player. She gets that ball. She knows what she's got to do. She's got one thing in front of her, and that's open field or a player, and she makes her own open field.
Well, credit the wide receivers and the offensive line, too, for creating that space to allow her excellent hole on that right side where she was just able to burst right through. I'm not sure that she was touched on her way into the end zone that time.
And on to attempt the extra point is Cade Murphy from the University of Minnesota, Hopkins. Colin Lewis will hold, trying to tack on, touchdown, a point after, number 3, ball down, kick up, and just inside the uprights, yes. Time out of the field to score, Minnesota Vixens 21, and the Wisconsin Dragons nothing. This is the Town Square game of the week. Conferences like the MIAA, the ECC, The NJCAA, the GLBC, the WAC Conference, and the Southland Conference are able to provide quality, cost-effective streaming solutions for the member schools and fans, because one of the sponsors of today's Game of the Week coverage, Blue Frame Technology. Blue Frame can provide tools to build a custom digital network. Details available at blueframetech.com. And guys, we got to give credit to the moving company up front. Jeanette has had some big holes.
She does. That offensive line of Minnesota has been together a number of years now, and I mean, you can't not get excited behind them. I mean, you've got a new center this year, but other than that, you know, your line is the same.
Well, the first rule in football is you always have to establish dominance at the line of scrimmage. And on both sides of the ball tonight, the Vixen have been excellent offensively and defensively.
And the kickoff comes to Katrina Steffes. Steffes trying to go near side. Stiff arms a tackler, would-be tackler, and then driven back. Good job on special teams for the Vixen. You know, on their staff was Wanda Carter and also Aaron Silford. And the Dragons will start this drive with 10:50 to go in the first half, trailing by 3 touchdowns. They beat the Columbus Vanguards 26-0 and almost shut out the Phoenix 50-6. And last week defeated the Grand Rapids Tidal Waves by a score of 20-0.
Iowa Phoenix, of course, the team next up on the docket for your Minnesota Vixen as they'll face off next Saturday back at Coolman Stadium in Edina.
Deuce to either side for Kelly Washington. And on the give to Harvey. Katrina trying to go wide. Pursuit is there. Turns the corner. 45, 46, maybe the 47-yard line. Lucretia Evans on the carry. And in on the stop for the Vixen was Selick, I hope it's pronounced, Celia. Westfall Winton out of Northern State, Aberdeen. Richfield, Minnesota. But Harvey with a pickup of 7 on the play. Second down and 3 from the Dragon 47-yard line. Washington this time 3 to work with along the near side. Here comes the rush. And Washington trying to break free, trying to turn the corner, and now throws it away. She was out of the box, so she can throw the intentional grounding, if you will. Incomplete pass, third down for the Wisconsin Dragon at their own 47.
Well, you notice how loosely Washington's carrying that ball, where it's almost carelessly just flowing in and out of her hand there. If a Vixen comes from behind and is able to swat that ball out, that could be a scoop and score opportunity for Minnesota.
Again, 3 rushing touchdowns for the Vixen. Nothing new. Still looking for the first one through the air. Cooper with 1, Nelson with 2 rushing touchdowns. Third down short, 3rd and 3 from the Wisconsin 47-yard line. All right in the middle of the field as they go left to right, east to west. There's Washington. Bobbles the snap. Going back. Here comes the rush. Throws downfield and it's incomplete. Coming off that corner, a screen, a correction. It was Ann Tyson on the charge coming up the middle on the stunt. 4th down from the 47-yard line. Tilford will go back to await this punt. Second punt of the ball game for the Wisconsin Dragon. This time the snap is good. The kick, end over end, but very short. Takes a Dragon bounce though inside the 30. And Aaron touches it out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Vixen ball, 9:46 to go here in the first half. You know, guys, the food trip truck is not here tonight. What are we going to do for food at halftime?
Well, I can't make a plug, but I had some really good food on the way here. So.
Oh, sure. No, actually, Tom and I and James Ramsey, we went to a very, what was it called, Tom? The Oakland Diner? Oak Grove Diner, something like that? We had a very good pregame meal.
We stopped at a little macaroni and cheese place right outside Wisconsin Dells, and I had macaroni and cheese with pulled pork. It was amazing. I got a picture of it on my phone. That's how good it was.
Evans back to pass. Throws downfield, and it is bobbled and caught down the sideline. There's Segula. And no correction, that is Aaron, excuse me.
Yep, McIsaac on the
McIsaac.
reception there.
It was bobbled. It was broken up by the defender, but it popped up on the air. And Aaron McIsaac hauled it in, and finally they bring her down from behind. All the way down inside Dragon territory at the 20-yard line.
And that was the first time that Evans targeted McIsaac this game, and it was for great success.
Well, and good receivers, too, have that concentration that when that ball gets bobbled up in the air and you don't have definite position, they'll stick with it until they catch it.
Cooper up the middle. Gracie to the 5, to the 4-yard line. A correction to the 6-yard line. Can't read my yard markers, but Grace Cooper on the carry off the right side of her offensive line. And another first down. Yep, first down and goal for the Vixen. Knocking on the door once again from the 6-yard line.
And I think it's safe to say that Cooper is 100% healthy.
Well, and you love how they came back after that big pass play, too. They went right to Cooper, right up the middle, too, to keep that defense on their toes, where they really don't know what's coming every time that a play goes into Emily Evans.
A break huddle and go Cooper and Segula to the far side. And to the near side, we've got McCusick. Pass over the middle and through the hands of Aaron. And it's incomplete. Wide out there, I believe, is Wanda Carter. Wanda out of Minneapolis South. Second down and goal from the 6-yard line. Messenger service from the far sidelines. Looks like Ellenberger comes out of the ball game. And coming in is Kate Murphy to play the wideout. Segula to the far side. Ellenberger is the tight end. Slot to the near side with Murphy and McCusick. Cooper in the backfield. Evans to give to Cooper, going wide, far side, 5-4, 3-yard line, maybe the 2-yard line. Time going wide. Grace Cooper. Nice seal blocks on that far side by Martin and Pasternak. And a pickup down to the 2-yard line, a 4-yard pickup, third down and goal for the Vixen. With 7:51 to go and a 21-0 first half.
Well, out of the box, I thought Cooper was going to have it on that sweep there, Tom. But again, just good defense by Wisconsin to move over and stop her right at that line. This is where we, again, may see a nice dose of tank.
And the Vixen, they are wearing the white uniforms tonight. Black pants and red stockings. A break huddle. McCusick and Segula go wide to the far side. And to the near side is Wanda Carter. And pass out of the flat, screen pass, touchdown, yes. There it is, number 1, McCusick. Is there a flag on the play, Brian?
Nope, that was actually Segula with that
Segula?
touchdown reception.
And a 2-yard touchdown pass from Evans to Segula. First touchdown catch, throw and catch of the season. But the Vixen up their margin to 27-0.
It's a perfect
5-play drive in about 2.5 minutes.
It was a perfect screen on the outside, too. Excellent blocking by that other receiver that was out there just to give Segula enough time.
And the point after is hammered through. And timeout on the field to score. The Minnesota Vixen 28. The Wisconsin Dragons, nothing. Vixen fans, do you know that the Vixen's official integrative sports care provider is Northwestern Health Sciences University? Because peak performance begins with consistent integrative care. Coverage of this week's Game of the Week here on Town Square Television is brought to you in part by Northwestern, located in Bloomington. More info available at nwhealth.edu. That's nwhealth.edu. Emily Evans connecting on her first touchdown pass of the season for Segula. I think that's her 4th catch of the ball game. Ryan,
For Segula, yes, you are 1, 2, 3. Yes, fourth. She's been thrown to 6 times, had 4 completions.
Yeah, our recap of the first half is going to take 15 minutes.
The hardest part was figuring out what I was going to write.
Kate Murphy will kick off. Back to receive is Katrina Steffes, and Steffes will take the ball at the 28-yard line. Near sideline, 35, 40, cuts back 45, midfield, and just barely into Vixen territory before she is hammered down in the play by Wanda Carter. But Katrina Steffes out of New Berlin, Wisconsin, and they say her knee touched down just short of the 50. Dragon football with 7:05 to go. We're still in the first half, first down and 10 from their own 49-yard line.
Well, a great tackle by Carter, too, to bring down the returner. Wow, huge hit.
Monica Jones now, one of the wideouts. She goes wide to the far side, trips to the near side. Kelly Washington remains at the control. 90% of their offense. And she gets the snap, straight drop, looking far side, throws, and it is caught by Harvey. And the Croatian escapes a tackle. Vixen territory and run out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. Lucretia Harvey on the catch and run, picks up 6. And she is still down right in front of the Vixen bench and across the way. And the training staff coming out to take a look at it. It'll be second down and about 4 from the Vixen 44-yard line. Dragons have been forced to punt it away 3 different times. They did have the one drive, their second drive of the ball game. And they put a nice drive together, got it down to the 20-yard line, but then turned it over on downs.
Well, with this drive, too, here, Tom, you really like how the Vixen were able to keep that contain at the second level, where if it wasn't the first person to the ball making the tackle, the second person was right there.
By the way, looks like Lucretia's up and she's okay. Division II football, there's 18 teams in the Division II. Right now, the Detroit Dark Angels, they're undefeated. Mile High Blaze, they're undefeated. St. Louis Slam, they're undefeated. The Vixen are undefeated. Houston Energy are undefeated. And just how big is that ball game here in a couple weeks down in St. Louis when the Vixen take on the Slam?
Well, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go for it.
Well,
Alex.
I think that there's going to be a lot of playoff implications with that one as far as if
Yep.
the Vixen make the playoff, and no reason to believe that they won't, is will they be at home, will they be on the road? And that road matchup in St. Louis for a team that's been dominating everybody that they play, it's really going to be a big question mark of where's this Vixen team at and how far they're going to go in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're 100% correct with that, Alex. I mean, St. Louis has been back-to-back Division II champions. They took last year off to kind of regroup, and it's like they never stopped.
And again, Washington, look, here comes the rush. They threw out of the flat. Caught, but a loss on the play. Good job by Aaron Tilford to bring down the intended receiver. Pass was intended for Nicole Matheson, made the catch. But a loss on the play of 1. Third down, let's call it 7 at the Vixen 48-yard line.
Yeah, it was the first time Matheson's been thrown to this game, and unfortunately for the Dragons, it was for a loss, as you stated. So they're going to have to gain an extra yard here on this third down.
One of the things that you like to see, too, Tom and Brian, is that when you have a defensive coverage, that there's not a lot of that yard after catch. And again, excellent coverage by Tilford for being right on the receiver and bringing her down immediately.
4 receiver set, 3 to the near side. Jones to the far side. As Washington out in the flat and nothing doing. Great job of infiltrating through the screen and making the stop. Was that Connor from her linebacker spot? Yep. Connor Lewis on the stop. Infiltrated, the screen pass and loss back to the Vixen, the Dragons 49-yard line. Or it's 4th down and 11.
Yeah, Connor Joe Lewis there on the tackle. When Emily Evans needs a break, she fills in at the quarterback position. So much like so many of these women, she's got multitasking all over her resume.
28-0. Tilford back to receive this punt. Line drive kick. Aaron washes it down once And then touched by the Dragon.
Uh-oh.
Down by Steffes. A little pushing and shoving. After the whistle, Steffes and Tilford got into it a little bit. No flags in the play. But the Vixen have time. 5:02 to go. Here in the first half. First down and 10. Let's see. What do they mark the ball? 36-yard line.
Well, motion's certainly getting high on the Wisconsin bench. It's one of those things where it's the border battle. The Minnesota-Wisconsin rivalry reigns throughout every sporting event, every contest really at any level, and especially when the Vixen have been so successful against Wisconsin in the years past that really starts to build up over time.
Slot to the near side. Ellenberger tight on that far side. As in motion, Cooper across the formation, gets the handout, going wide far side. Pursuit is there. Jump cut. Gets across the 40, 41, 42-yard line. Good jump cut by Grace Cooper. She avoided a tackle and motors out to the 43-yard line. And a pickup of 7 on the play. Second down and a 3 for the Vixen inside their own territory.
And you know, Brian, we've talked about Cooper so many times tonight, but the decision there, even something as simple as waiting to go full speed until that ball's in your hands to try and fake that defense out.
That's one of Grace's spectacular talents that she has that I've watched her over the years, is she knows when to cut, when to slow down, and when just to hit the accelerator.
And Kate Murphy put wide to the near side, 3 to the far side, including the tight end. And on the handoff is Belvina. And inside Dragon territory. Not a bounds at about the 49-yard line. Or did she step out? It is a first down for the Vixen. First down and 10 at their 48-yard line.
Minnesota's rushing front. You've got Nelson, you've got McGrath, you've got Cooper. It's really hard for the Dragons to, even if they're watching game film, they don't know who's going to get the ball any given play. So they have to make those adjustments on the fly, and they're just not able to keep up.
Well, and all three of the running backs, too, have a different skills set and things that they're good at.
And Belvina with the carry up the middle, up the left side of her offensive line. Gets midfield on a 2-yard pickup. Second down and 8. That first down, unofficially the 4th of the ball game for the Vixen. And length of the football inside Dragon territory, just short of the 49-yard line. All right, this level of football, do we have a 2-minute warning?
No, sir.
Okay.
These are NCAA college rules.
Okay.
The only there's a couple modifications here and there. The most noticeable is the size of the football is a little bit smaller. Okay. But otherwise, your overtime rules, your possession rules, your contact rules, everything matches right up with the NCAA.
So Emily Evans with a 4-receiver set to throw to. 5 in the box, back to pass, 3-step drop, pass over the middle, and it's complete to Makusik, and across the 40 down to the 38-yard line.
Nice little in route from McIsaac there to create space from the defense. Good first down here for Minnesota.
Thank you for correcting me. It's McIsaac, right? Okay.
Yeah, like our eyes.
First and 10 on the catch for Aaron. First and 10 at the Dragon 38-yard line. Receivers both ways. Again, the double slot or the deuce formation, spread formation. And give to McGrath going wide far side. Turns the corner. Had the first down. Pushed out of bounds. Inside the 30 down to near the 26-yard line. Belvina McGrath out of Rochester. Went to RCTC. There on the southeast side of that beautiful city. And another first down. That is first down. Let's see. 5, 6. 3 of the 6, I think it is.
Yep, I think you're right with 6.
First down and 10 at the Dragon 27-yard line. Minute and a half to go. And the Vixen have all 3 timeouts remaining, should they choose to use them. Dragons at 6 in the box. Trying to apply some pressure up the middle. Evans, 3-step drop, pass over the middle. And it's complete to Jeanette Nelson inside the 15 and down to the 13-yard line. Jeanette not often a wide receiver, but she has caught now 3 passes on the season for over 20 yards. And another first down, 3 straight first downs for the Vixen. The ball marked down at the 12-yard line. That was a 15-yard pickup for Jeanette. Again, Evans the throw over the middle, complete to Nelson inside the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. Coming out of that slot crossing pattern, or a post pattern if you will. She's been open and 2 straight catches.
Yeah, Nelson is a spectacular player to watch, and last game, her parents made us cookies. Wisconsin, though, is electing to take a timeout here. Going to regroup, see if they can figure out a way to keep Minnesota out of the end zone one more time.
Well, at the same time, too, Brian, when you see Tank Nelson catch passes like that, where it's just that simple, up and then go, I mean, you got to be able to defend that, and you have to have that zone defense so that way a pass like that doesn't get completed. But we've seen a couple of times tonight where the Wisconsin defense has been giving up that short little nickel and dime over the middle, and the Vixen have taken it and turned it into big plays.
Right. You stated earlier that when Wisconsin is on offense and they complete a pass, Minnesota is there to stop them right away.
And you know, for Wisconsin coming into this ball game tonight, they had to, looking at the standings, they had to play a perfect game to have any shot really of a playoff spot, because they know that they get the Vixen again, and right there's 3 losses if things continue to play out. So again, just to make the playoffs, they had to play a perfect game tonight. In Minnesota, again, it's about making sure that you don't slip up, and really the Vixen have come out strong.
Upcoming the 8th play of this drive that started at their own 36-yard line. A drive that has seen 4 first downs, 51.3 up on the clock. McGrath is on the left hip of Emily Evans. Double E, handoff. McGrath going wide, needs a break, turns the corner, touchdown. Nice seal block on the far side by the wideouts. And Bilbina could walk into the end zone untouched from 4 yards out. Touchdown number 5. It is 34-0. An 8-play drive. They go 64 yards in about 4.5 minutes. 4:45 off the clock.
Well, with all 3 of the running backs, you could call them Earth, Wind, and Fire with the different play styles that they have. Each one getting a touchdown here tonight. You love how the backfield has been for Minnesota.
And bad snap. Connor Lewis will have to throw end zone. 2-point conversion to Segula. Kaya Segula. Bad snap. Connor steps up, throws it into the end zone. She gets her first pass into the end zone.
Well, I just literally mentioned no more than 30 seconds ago that when Emily needs a break, that Connor Joe Lewis is the backup quarterback. So having her as the holder for the point after attempts pays off big time right here for Minnesota.
Well, again, Minnesota doing a great job of recognizing, too, that Wisconsin sold out to try to block that kick. And with Segula wide open, easy 2-point conversion.
Again, we're about halfway through the season. And the standings right now would show the Vixen down the road at St. Louis. So how big is that game in a couple of weeks down in St. Louis? Houston would take on Mile High. Columbus would take on Pittsburgh. Cleveland would take on Detroit. Opening round of the playoffs on June 15th. Semis on the 29th. Championship game July 13th. Colorado School of Mines. Beautiful new stadium up there. Beautiful basketball facility. That is July 13th, the D2 Championship. You mentioned St. Louis won it last year?
No, last year St. Louis had the season off. New York Sharks won it last year for Division II, and they are no longer in existence.
And a short kickoff again. And this time on the return is Krug and Caitlin across the 40. Still on our feet, 45. 46-yard line before we get a whole host of white jerseys. There's Tilford in on the stop. Also in on the stop for the Vixen. Give credit, because I have to say her name, Erin Leiden out of St. Paul, and off of my Augie hockey team.
No kidding.
Yes, Erin Leiden on the tackle. She played for the Augies.
Well, then there's no confusion on how to pronounce that last name.
That's right. So we got 2 Augies on the roster. And voice of the Augies for about 22 years now. Football, volleyball, basketball, and hockey. 35 seconds to go in the half. 36-0. Kelly Washington looking over to the sideline. Maybe the change in the play. 6 in the box for the Vixen. Now they're going to drop back. Kelly long count. And on the give, going wide far side is Matheson. Nicole turns upfield, midfield, inside Vixen territory. And down to the 45-yard line Nicole Matheson, who came in with 13 carries for 55 yards, a 9-yard pickup, and it is 2nd down and 1 at the Vixen 45-yard line.
And oddly enough, that's actually Matheson's first carry of today.
Well, again, you love the sell job by Washington, too, to really pull that ball down and fake like she was going to run it. Matheson just runs east to west before moving up the field. Great play.
Again, Matheson pursued it there. Down she goes. Could not turn the corner. Give credit to Chelsea Swanson. She led the attack. And also in on the stop for the Vixen was Allison Klenke out of North St. Paul. That's the half. Your score. The Minnesota Vixens 36, the Wisconsin Dragons nothing. This is your game of the week on Town Square Television. We'll be back with a recap of the first half in just a bit. And we welcome you back again here to Franklin, Wisconsin. It's halftime. I'm Tom Merchant, joined by Alex Wested and the announcer guy, Brian Sweeney. And I'd spend about half of the halftime talking about your resume, but your newest gig there, young man, is Concordia St. Paul?
Golden Bears, I'll start this fall as their public address announcer. So kind of excited for that. Been doing, obviously, Vixen football for my 5th season now, and high school football. I'm going into my 4th season, so why not add college football to that as well?
Well, let's recap this first half. Vixen had a good drive going, especially a good kickoff return. Got it down in Dragon territory down to the 14-yard line, but turned it over on downs as they went for it on a 4th and 9. The Dragons 3 plays and out, they punted it away, and then the Vixens started to drive after a good punt return. Aaron Tilford took it all the way down to the 14-yard line. 3 plays later, Grace Cooper carried once, carried twice, carried 3 times, took it in from 1 yard on. Point after good, it was 7-0, a 3-play drive, 14 yards, about $1.50. And then the Dragons got their best drive of the game going at the 9:17 mark of the first quarter. Started at their own 37, got down to the Vixen 20-yard line. They turned it over on downs once again. And the Vixen went back to work again. 2:34 to go, still in the first quarter. And this time a very short drive, not in yardage, 75 yards, but 67 of that came on one play. And Jeanette Nelson took it in to the house to make it a 14-0 ball game. Point after was good. And again, a 4-play drive, 75 yards, 2:34 off the clock. Dragons next attempt, 3 and out. Then the Vixens scored for the 3rd straight time. Early second quarter, started in midfield. Then on a 4th and 3 from the 12-yard line, Jeanette Nelson got her 2nd touchdown in a row, capping off a 12-play drive. A 8-play drive in about a minute and 41 seconds. Point after was good, 21-0. Again, that Vixen defense shut down the Dragons. Now the 3 and out, punted away. And the Vixen then make it 4 scores in a row at the 9:46 mark of the second quarter. Start at their own 28-yard line. They go 72 yards in 5 plays. A lot of that yardage going through the air. And the touchdown was from Evans to Segula. And the first passing touchdown of the season, point after was good. It was 28-0. Dragons 3 and out again. And make it 5 straight drives for the Vixen. And with 5:02 to go, they 64-yard drive, 8 plays, 4:45 off the clock. And this time, they can get in was Jeanette Nelson, but this time on the pass. And to make it 34-0. And Connor Lewis throwing the PAT, 2-point conversion to make the margin here at the half, 36-0. The score is dominating. Stats look the same way, Brian?
Stats definitely look the same way. I mean, if you compare the two quarterbacks, Evans from Minnesota is 8 for 14, whereas you have Washington 6 for 15. So they've almost thrown an equal number of passes. Obviously, Minnesota has a little bit stronger receiving core. That's why their percentage of completions is better. On the rushing side of the ball, though, I mean, how can you stop the big three, as you called them, Earth, Wind, and Fire for Minnesota? You've got Nelson with 6 carries, McGrath with 6 carries, and Cooper with 5 carries. So Minnesota's dividing up their rushing game almost equally among those big 3 players. So as I stated earlier, you don't know how you're going to stop them when you don't know who's going to have the ball and which way they're going to go.
I have to give credit to that was McGrath taking it in for that final touchdown of the first half.
Yeah, and I mean, prior to that final drive, McGrath had only had the ball 3 times, so she doubled her carries in that one drive and got the reward at the end.
What about passing?
Passing, Segula's four times out of 6 throws to her. She really leads both teams, with the exception of Steffes for the Dragons, which is 4 for 4. Unfortunately, Washington's favorite target is Krug, but she's 0 for 5. She's been thrown to 5 times and hasn't been able to pull the ball into her yet. Dragons
had a couple of first downs in the first half, but the Vixen counted with 7. And penalties, the Dragons had a couple, and I believe the Vixens had 2 penalties in that first half as well. 36-0 is your score here at halftime. For Brian Sweeney, Alex Westhead, I'm Tom Wichern, and the Silver Fox, Tom Ritchie. He is all coiffed and combed, and he got his hair cut looking really good. He's our engineer here tonight. We're going to take a break. This is the game of the week on Town Square Television. We'll be back with the second half in minutes. And we welcome you back here to the greater Milwaukee area from Franklin High School and Sullivan Stadium, Jerry Walsh Field, for Minnesota Vixens football here on our Town Square Television Game of the Week. Broadcast courtesy of Town Square Television, the Ritchie Media Group, also Blue Frame Technology, and TJ Broadcast Services. Got to mention my company, TJSportsOnline.net. You can follow the Vixen on Town Square Television this season on Comcast Channel 14, townsquare.tv, and on Facebook Live. Special thanks to all the community stations around the Twin Cities for their support of the Vixen. Vixen's back home next week. Sean Parker will be back. Kelly Schultz will be back for the broadcast, and then the Vixen will head down to St. Louis. Brian and Alex will have the call of that game after 14 hours with Tom Ritchie in the car.
That's why I drive separately with my family, to be honest with you. I think Alex is doing pretty much the same thing I am. We're going to make a weekend out of it. That's Memorial Weekend, and there's plenty to do in the St. Louis area. My children have never been there, even though 2 of them are technically adults now. They're no longer children, but we're going to make a weekend of it. Maybe go to an amusement park, maybe hit the zoo, definitely see the arch and everything else the city has to offer.
Did you say the Cardinals are home that weekend?
Cardinals are home to the Atlanta Braves that weekend. Sunday night baseball as well for the Cardinals against Atlanta. Also, the other things to do. I mean, you have the City Museum, Six Flags, whatever the subtitle to that is.
Mid-America.
Yes, that. There's a ton of stuff to do out in the St. Louis area. It's one of my favorite cities to go to. And again, they choose to have the wetter barbecue, contrast to Kansas City at the start of the season, from what I've been told.
All right, it'll be Kate Murphy to kick things off for the Vixen to start the second half again. 36-0 up on the scoreboard. The Vixen going from right to left, and the wind at their back, and the kickoff. There is Steffes again, bobbles the kickoff, picks it back up, and muscles her way through some traffic, and finally is brought down near the 38-yard line. And on the stop for the Vixen was Krista Nirakami out of Armstrong High School, St. Cloud State, on special teams. And the Dragons will start this drive again, just 2 first downs in the first half. We talked about the offensive line, the running attack. How about this defense?
This defense is great for Minnesota. I want to go back, though. You mentioned Kristen Murakami. As you look across the stands there, you see roughly 40 Minnesota fans that have traveled to watch this team. One of them is Murakami's parents. They're at every road game every year.
Kelly Washington at the controls. 4 receivers set from their own 39-yard line. Vixen without 3-4 defense. And Washington on the give to Matheson. Nicole cut down at the line of scrimmage, struggles ahead for maybe a yard, but that's it. At the bottom of the pile for the Vixen was Allison Klinke out of St. Ben's. Plymouth is her home. 2-yard pickup. Second down, 8 for the Dragons from their own 41-yard line.
Brian, we mentioned back in the first quarter on that second Wisconsin drive that the Vixen really are the team that make adjustments defensively, even though when it looked like that shutout streak was going to end, they made the adjustments. The defense has looked really good since that second drive.
You're correct, Alex. They adjusted. They changed where they're going to line up, changed their coverage a little bit more, and Wisconsin hasn't been able to do anything since.
Oh, that'll be a legal motion called against the Dragon. The Vixen had 7 in the box. They were coming, and the timing a little bit off as pulling away Lasha Morales from her offensive tackle spot, and a 5-yard penalty, the third unofficially of the ball game against the Wisconsin Dragon. That'll back him up back to the 36-yard line. Second down all over again, but second down and 13 to the 36-yard line. 4 receivers set for Kelly Washington. Gets the snap from Scaria. Pass flat out of the screen pass out of the flat. Pass intended for Steffes and broke it up. In on defense for the Vixen, Amy Mugas. All right. Sorry, Amy. Out of NDSU, Bloomington, Minnesota. Incomplete pass. Third down, 13.
One of the things I've noticed about the Wisconsin quarterback Washington is that she seems to be throwing the ball just a little too early. She has more time, but something about the Vixen pressure, especially when they load the box, makes her throw the ball just a little bit more than she should.
Washington, empty backfield, 4 receivers set, tight end on that far side is Kelly Washington. Always a long count, low snap on the ground, loose ball, and I think the Vixens have it. Kelly Washington bobbled the ball, and looks like Cynthia
Red Bryant,
the franchise Cynthia Bryant, Red, falls on top of it, fumble recovery, and I think Washington is down. And the first turnover of the ball game. And it'll be Vixen ball, 13:36 to go, third quarter.
I mean, this is quite the change from when you and I were down in Kansas City, Alex, where we actually had 6 turnovers in the first half. And here we are, we're just a minute and 24 seconds into the third quarter, and we finally have that first turnover of the game.
Well, it goes back to that last play, too, where you feel as though the quarterback, Washington, has to throw that ball just a little bit sooner because the Vixen are sending the blitz effectively here, and that's exactly what happened here, where the Vixen got to the backfield and they brought her down, and that thought just in the back of the mind of here comes this Vixen defensive line, that just even enough of that is just enough to cause that miscue.
Well, Kelly Washington is up, walking off a little bit gingerly towards the near sidelines, but she's okay. Cynthia Bryant on the fumble recovery as the Vixen take over in enemy territory at the 31-yard line. 13:36 to go, third quarter. 36-zip up on the scoreboard. And the first time around was 35-6. Last weekend it was just 7-0 against Kansas City. Connor Lewis got the only touchdown of the ball game there from Farmington. And Connor's going to start at quarterback here in the second half with Tank Connor right hip. And should be offside against the Dragons. Lewis on the option going wide, far side, jump cut. And she picked up 3, maybe 4 down to the 26-yard line. But wasn't that quarterback on the near side into the neutral zone?
I think they were both in the neutral zone, hanging out, shaking hands. But why there wasn't a flag thrown there, I agree with you. There should have been one.
And it'll be second down and a 5 from the 26-yard line. So Connor Lewis now in at quarterback. Went to school up at UMD out of Plymouth, Minnesota. 14 carries, 106 yards. She's now passed for a PAT. Segula to the near side. Mary Ellenberger, the tight end on the near side, slot to that far side. Nelson in the backfield. And cut of the give to Tank. Going wide near side 30. Cuts back 25. And down to the 21-yard line. As into the step for the Dragon was Katrina Steffes. But a pickup of about 4 on the play. Third down, and maybe 1 from the 22-yard line. Is Tank over 100 yards yet, Brian?
I don't have the exact number, but she's in the 110s already, 1-teens, or whatever you want to phrase that as.
67 yards on the first rushing touchdown of the ballgame. So Evans' afternoon or evening is done. A very cool night. Connor Lewis at the controls. And as their 4 receivers set, including the tight end. From the 21-yard line, third down 1. Give to Tank going right side. Cuts back, 21st down. Still on her feet and down to the 16-yard line. She's good at shredding tackles after the first time she's hit.
She's good at shredding tackles. She's good at the stiff arm. We haven't seen a good stiff arm out of Tank yet tonight. But when she had that long run in Kansas City, she knocked 4 players out of her way on her way down the field.
Jeanette Nelson from Iroquois, South Dakota. How many years has she been with the franchise?
I believe this is her 3rd or 4th season. I'm not 100% on that.
So again, Cooper and McGrath and Nelson, the three, as you said, the three-headed monster, combining for 3 touchdowns in that first half. Correction, 4 of our touchdowns in the first half. The other one was a passing touchdown. Empty backfield for Connor. Lewis awaiting the snap from Beck. Maria gets it back. Lewis back to pass, looking near side, or far side. Now fakes the throw, pulls it down, turns the corner. 15 and out of bounds near the 13-yard line. Evidently good pass protection down in the secondary. Jasmine White running her out of bounds out of Racine, Illinois.
It is 2nd and 6.
Second down and 6.
Well, again, the option that you had there of maybe making that throw there, probably not the best idea, but you keep that ball running off to the right side there, taking what the defense would give you. Just a smart decision to try to run that ball off to the right side.
Second down and 6 from the 12-yard line. 2 first downs on this drive for the Vixens, 8 and 9 in the ball game. They'll again go 4 wide. On the left hip of Lewis is Jeanette Nelson. Has got a straight drop, looking middle into the end zone. Segula and Kaya had to go through her hands. She could be about 3 inches taller.
You know, in Minnesota, that's their first pass attempt on this drive, actually.
Yes, it is.
It's been, there's been a couple times where Lewis wanted to pass the ball, and she ended up having to scramble up the right side, but let's see what they do here with 3rd down.
Well, and I like the decision to pass there, too, where there was the opening with Segula. There was a little bit of contact in there, too. A closer game, you may have seen that flag get thrown, but with the score being what it is, I can understand why not, but definitely contact there on the attempt.
And Carter, Makusek, and Segula. Here's Nelson going wide far side. And Kaya gets a block on the defender, and Jeanette takes advantage of it, goes in for number 3. There's the hat trick. Alex and I love the hockey terminology. So does Mr. Hockey, Mr. St. Thomas. Jeanette Nelson, his 3rd rushing touchdown. This one from 12 yards out, and put up 7 more up on the board. Or
Tank
6 more,
Nelson,
42-0.
Tank Nelson is so exciting to watch. Looks like we've got another Dragons player injured on the field right now, but no, Tank Nelson is so exciting to watch year in and year out. She takes that ball up the field, and if you have an opportunity to talk to her away from the game, Tom, she's quiet, she's laid back, but you put that ball in her hands, you put that helmet on her heads, and you better get out of her way because she's coming through you for that end zone.
Well, I'm sure she knows how effective she's been on the field, especially this season, too, out of the backfield, where really when you look at how she runs the football, it's not can you stop her, it's can you contain her, because she's going to get big plays. It's just from an opposing defense's side, it's can you stop her enough to give your team a chance, and really the Vixen just keep throwing her up the middle, off to the right side, and she has the speed and the ability to get past defenders and into that second level that makes her really an elite running back in this league.
Well, Nancy Viker, the nose guard for Wisconsin, she is walking off the field rather gingerly. She's out of New Berlin, Wisconsin.
And Nancy Vickers, she actually used to play for Minnesota years ago.
Okay.
So she has a connection to both sides of the ball tonight.
31-yard drive in 6 plays after the fumble recovery by Cynthia Bryant. Nelson, her 3rd rushing touchdown of the ballgame. As Kate Murphy trying to attack, put on the extra point. Bobbled. Lewis to throw, needs some room. Now in the end zone, wide open. Oh, in and out of the hands of Aaron Tilford. A babbled snap, and Lewis threw it in the end zone. And nobody there. Do we have flags on the play?
There was a flag that was thrown on the far side. They pointed towards the Wisconsin side, so they may give them another attempt here.
That would definitely explain why we saw Wisconsin get into that backfield so quickly.
2:52, by the way, on that drive. So one more try for Cade Murphy. Out of the hold of Connor Lewis. Who did you say our long snapper is?
Our long snapper, oh boy. We talked about it before the game. Let me figure that out here for you.
High snap again, ball put down and booted up and through. Not exactly textbook PAT, but they rifle it through. It is 43-0.
I believe it's Taylor Fox that's actually our long snapper tonight. So
coverage of the game of the week here on Town Square Television, sponsored in part by Blue Frame Technology, the premier end-to-end streaming provider for sports organizations across the United States, with over 600 clients in NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III, and other sports leagues as well. More info about Blue Frame's end-to-end solution for production, management, and distribution for video streaming is available at blueframetech.com.
It's a very cathartic feeling for the Vixen, too, after only being held to 7 points a week ago at home against Kansas City, to go up and put 43 rather, with 9:41 left in this third quarter. It's got to feel good to be getting in the end zone that frequently.
it really does. I mean, like you said, to only put 7 up against Kansas City, and when we played Kansas City the opening weekend of the season, it was only 17 we put up. So it's good to see the Vixen back pushing that ball.
And again, Steffes on the return, and 1 flag, 2 flags. A lot of pushing and shoving after the whistle, as both teams mixing it up. And again, the Dragons showing their frustration, as the Vixen have scored now in six straight possessions, going back to the first half.
The second time, too, Tom, Steffes has been involved with something after the whistle on kickoffs. You can see the frustration that she had. You may have heard her shout something a little profane, too. It's just frustration.
And the referee still talking over with his crew. Kelly Washington back on the field. I don't know who their backup quarterback is.
You know, when she went out, I was looking at their roster there, and I did not see anybody listed, and I looked the rest of the season, and they haven't even had anybody in that position. So I was a little worried, but I'm glad to see, that she had that time to rest while Minnesota had control of the ball.
I think when I was watching the pregame warm-ups, I think I saw Mary Ellen Six throwing.
Okay.
Too. That may have just been why not throw a football around. But yeah, I would guess that would be the backup quarterback. But again, who knows without a depth chart.
And the ball is going to be spotted at the 42-yard line. Are they going to see offsetting penalties?
I think they're finally figuring out what they're going to do here, but the referee did not give us an indication as to what the call was. So maybe they picked up the flag and said, all right, behave.
By the way, we got to say thanks too. We have it when we run the credits at the end of the game. The gentleman here from Franklin High School for getting us all set up here in the press box. Tom Ritchie, what was his name? The gentleman from Franklin High School. He doesn't remember.
Looks like the penalty, Tom, actually went against the Dragons because they backed them up 15 yards from where they started, or where the reception ended.
So the drive will start at their own 26-yard line. First down and 10 with 9:32 to go. Third quarter, 43-0. As Washington on the handoff to Matheson to Cole, going wide near side across the 25, 26, maybe the 27-yard line. And in on the stop for the Vixen was Allison Klenke, among others. And a 2-yard pickup, second down for the Dragons from the 28-yard line.
Well, that first time these two teams played each other this year, back Easter weekend at Coleman Stadium in Edina. Only 6 points that the Vixen allowed defensively. Again, when you have a lead like the one that the Vixen entertain right now, again, the playbook opens up on the other side. So you still have to keep contained and make sure that you're still playing every snap 100% to make sure that that zero stays there.
Second and long with an empty backfield. Kelly Washington 5 wide. As Washington back to pass, looking near side, throws downfield, looking for Steffes, and it's incomplete, thrown over the wrong shoulder. Depending on the play for the Vixens was Amy.
And Alex, that's something you talked about in the first half too, that each time that ball's being thrown, it is to the wrong shoulder. I don't know if the receiver doesn't quite have the route down right, or if she's looking at the wrong point and not able to make the adjustments, but they have good opportunity. They're just not cashing in on it when those balls are thrown.
Well, and again, you have to credit the Vixen defense too for being right on the receiver hip for hip, where the throws have to be in a perfect window, and for the Wisconsin Dragons, they haven't quite been that way.
By the way, I have to give credit where credit is due. Amy Mugas was defending on that play. Couldn't find her last name. 5 wide again for Kelly Washington on 3rd and long. Gets the snap, 3-step drop, looking downfield, airs it out downfield, could be picked off. Oh, it's caught. Nice catch by Caitlin Krug. They've been going to her all night, and a hand fight, and they're going to give it to Caitlin. Again, the hand fight. Who was in on defense for the Vixen?
You know, it took 6 chances to throw it to Krug, but she finally pulled one in, and she did it at just the right time when they needed that big play to keep their drive moving into Vixen territory, which they're just about 3.5 yards short of finally getting it in there.
Well, in that Krug matchup, too, whoever she's been matched up with on either side of the ball tonight, they've been right there. So that's where we were talking about. A good throw from Washington gave her that opportunity to make that catch.
Dragons were there, just their 3rd first down of the ball game. 2 in the first half, 1 here in the second half. From their own 47-yard line, new set of downs. They move the sticks. As Washington out in the flat, tipped away. Pass was intended for Steffes, but shooting through to tip it away was Chelsea Swanson. Former Superlark, Grand Meadow. I broadcast games down there long time ago. Back in the 80s.
These Wisconsin fans are upset about something, but I don't know what they'd be upset about. Just great penetration through the line by Swanson. Got a hand on that ball. Really, if you're throwing a screen like that, that ball's got to be a little bit more on an arc, so that way that doesn't happen.
On the incomplete pass, 7:35 to go, 3rd quarter. 43-0 Vixen as they have scored. Now on 6 straight possessions. The only time they were stopped, first drive of the ball game. Washington to pass. Out in the flat downfield. Wide open is Krug, and incomplete. Late in getting the play was Amanda Atkins, but Krug was wide open on the pump fake.
Well, and, you know, Atkins there, she knew where the ball was going. She corrected herself after the snap, and she saw Krug breaking free, because if Amanda hadn't adjusted as she had and Krug had caught that ball, there would have been nothing between her and the end zone.
Well, it's great adjustment, too, especially off of that zone, too. If a receiver goes in right between those 2 zones, that can cause miscommunication on the defensive side of the ball. So great adjustment for Atkins to move over and get that coverage in.
Steffes and Krug and Diaz wide of the near side. Jones to the far side. 3rd and 10 for the Dragons from their own 47-yard line. Oh, we jumped offside. Jumping the neutral zone. It was red.
I think the umpire was the only person that kept his flag in his pocket there.
Cynthia Bryant from North St. Paul, the Pullers. Oh, they say they were drawn offside?
Yes, sir.
The illegal motion. And the 4th penalty of the ball game against the Dragons. That'll back him up 5. 3rd down and 15 this time, back at the 42-yard line. They should have been flagged a couple times here tonight. Both of those coming in the first half. And that 3-4 defense. Coach Ryan McCulley. Washington to pass, downfield over the middle, and in and out of the hands of Krug. Maybe getting her fingertips on it was Celia Westfall-Winton.
Yeah, Sil Winton's a rookie this year, and they are a spectacular player.
I completely agree with you, too. Great play by them to just get there, get a hand on it, too. Because really, if Krug gets that ball, she's right in that seam where if she turns up, gets a good hold, then she could be gone. But again, excellent defense by Winton there to just knock that ball, get a little bit of a hand on it.
And Krug does the putting. And pulled down that high snap, low end over end kick, rolling near side. Picked up by Tilford at the 34. Stumbles. Gets on the 40, 45. Midfield out of bounds inside Dragon territory at about the 48-yard line. Aaron Tilford at the Winona State down to the beautiful River City as the Vixens have their second possession of the half. 7:18 to go, middle of the quarter.
You know, it's great to have Tilford back on the team this year. Last year, she is a National Guard member, so she spent the year helping protect our country, as so many players on both sides of the ball are either still active or in the reserves or veterans of all of our branches of service. So we really appreciate the fact that they do that for our country, and then they get to come out here and push the ball around.
As Connor Lewis now at the controls here in the second half. It's like McGrath in the backfield. Low snap, don't give to Grace Cooper. Trying to get wide near side 50 and down to the 45. On her feet, breaks a tackle and out of bounds near the 41-yard line. Grace Cooper with a rushing touchdown in the first half. And we got another Dragon player down. They've been beat up here. They've had about 2 or 3 different girls that have gone down. Now pickup of 8 for Grace Cooper.
We certainly don't like to see players go down, but you wonder how much of that is just the weather and that coolness making it just a little bit more stiff on some of the muscles sometimes. So you don't like to see those players go down, but hopefully all the Dragons that have been hurt tonight are getting better.
Grace Cooper, first rushing touchdown of the season. She went to school at Bethel University up in Arden Hills. Steph is coming off. Vixen ball, 43-0, third quarter. As they start the clock. Slot on the near side. Receiver to the far side. They go with tight end. And almost jumping offside. And the give to Cooper going wide far side. Turns the quarter, 40, 35, and out of bounds near the 34-yard line. Reese Cooper going wide far side, getting some nice seal blocks on the corner by Martin and Pazdernick. And let's see, good enough for first down? Yes, it is. The 10th first down of the ball game.
There's a flag on the field.
Yeah. Now they're picking it up, and the offside, it's waved off. Yeah, it looked like that left defensive end jumped in the neutral zone just a smidge too early.
Yep, didn't get back in time, didn't matter. Grace Cooper once again with the first down for Minnesota.
Well, and it's that cadence, too, and the effectiveness of waiting until that moment and switching up that snap count, too, that allows you to draw an opponent offside in situations like that.
So a new set of downs. From the 34-yard line, Connor, play action. Nope, going wide far side. Tries to turn the corner. Pushed out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Pushed out of bounds over that far sideline. And Alex, or maybe Brian, you were telling me, what's Connor's nickname?
Kojo for
Kojo.
Connor Joe.
Okay.
I just remember the dog Cujo from Stephen King. Changed the U to an O, and I'm good to go.
4-yard pickup for Kojo. Down to the 30-yard line, second down, and a 6. 5:20 to go in the third quarter. I'm going to take a break and turn it over to Alex Westhead in the fourth quarter to take us home. Prime the pump for his game against St. Louis in a couple of weeks. Sean Parker, of course, will be back next week for the home game. Kojo, handoff, near side. Cooper, Gracie has 1, has 2 yards, maybe. Down to the 28-yard line. And it brings up fourth down. Correction, third down, excuse me. Third down and about 4 from the 26-yard line.
And again, Tom, we're not seeing much of the passing game here in the third quarter. And again, why would you?
Yep.
Again, with the score being 43-0 at this point. And that run game, too, it's just been so effective tonight. We've talked about the 3 regular in the backfield all night long. They've been doing a great job of moving the ball.
So third down, again from the 34-yard line. Lewis setting a runner in position on the handoff. We're going wide near side. And we got a new number on the board. Looks like Adriana Boyd. To St. Norbert's Cottage. Boat. Okay. Like to St. Norbert's. We'll forgive her. St. Norbert's not my favorite college when it comes, but it's for hockey. We can't beat them.
Well, it's a good design play, too. After the crowd got loud, you had Vogt moving in motion across from the right to the left, and that high snap, great job, too, by Connor Joe to pull that down and give it to Vogt as she was able to cut across.
And a 10-yard pickup. First and 10 for the Vixen at the Dragons' 16-yard line. Lewis awaiting the snap from Beck. Now stands McGrath in motion. And the give to Cooper going wide far side. Jump cut. Gets across the 10 down to the 9 near the 8-yard line. Inside Dragon territory. And I noticed, too, the three-headed monsters we see are running backs. But Cooper and McGrath go wide, and it's Nelson up the middle.
Nelson up the middle, yep. Yeah, they're so much fun to watch, too, the three of them. I mean, we're playing the Dragons tonight, and I'm almost thinking of the whole mythical three-headed dragon. Only those three heads are going to be the running backs for the Vixen.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. Correction, 5 touchdowns. Nelson has the hat trick. Cooper has 1. McGrath has 1. Second down, 4 from the 10-yard line. And on the handoff again, Cooper trying to get her second. Cuts back, 5, 4, 3, 2-yard line. Oh, flag on the play. We're going to see a face mask here.
You certainly would think so from where that flag came in from, some sort of a tackle infraction.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of the flag, I mean, she definitely had enough for a first down, so it'll be first and goal unless for some reason it turns out to be on Minnesota, which it isn't. You were correct with the face mask penalty.
So first and goal from the 2-yard line.
Ball position-wise doesn't do too much, half the distance penalty, but we'll still take it.
Did Connor come out at the quarterback spot? So number 10 going to the sidelines.
Let's see.
Oh, no, she's still there.
Oh, she's still there? Okay. In fact, she's got an empty backfield. 5 receiver set, including the tight end from the 2-yard line.
Quarterback keeper here, I'm thinking.
Kojo waiting the snap. Now sends a player in motion. And she's going to go wide near side on the handoff. Near side, touchdown, yes. And let's see, that's McGrath.
You're correct. McGrath with her second score of the game.
Number 20, Belvina McGrath, goes in from 2 yards out, capping a 51-yard drive in 8 plays.
Well, and it's a sweep, too, here for the Vixen. I thought quarterback keeper, but again, that motion, the Dragons have just had a hard time keeping contained when you have sweep play time and time again, and the Vixen have used it to their advantage where they're able to get to the outside, find the seam, and find the end zone.
Caden Murphy out of the hold of Kojo trying to tack on point number 50. When's the last time, Brian, I'm going to test your memory, have they scored 50 in a ball game?
Well, it happens quite often, actually. I could use my my crystal ball and tell you when it's probably going to happen next, and that would be
next week.
That'd be June 2nd, first, excuse me, against Iowa.
Well, the point after was good by Kate Murphy, now 50-0, as the Vixen have now scored on 7 consecutive possessions. Presentation of this game of the week at Towns Court Television, sponsored in part by Production Truck, including all the features of a television production truck, but packed into an easy-to-use interface that can be downloaded on the computer. Production Truck has 4-camera replay sharing to Twitter and Facebook during a live broadcast, and broadcast branding with easy-to-use graphic packages. More info about Production Truck, powered by Blue Frame Technology, available at blueframetech.com. We're live on Town Square Television and online at townsquare.tv. Wherever you might be watching and listening, we've had some great numbers on the broadcast. Short kickoff. Crew coming wide near side. Caitlin to the 45, 46, 47-yard line. Finally, the Vixen get to the point of the attack. And first person in on the step was Krista Murakama. And we get to mention her name a second time. It'll be Dragon football. With 1:56 to go, quarter number 3. It's 50-0. Vixen in Iowa on the 18th at home. Then to St. Louis. Then home to the Dragons, and then we go to Des Moines to finish off the regular season against the Iowa Phoenix.
I would say we've talked about the St. Louis game at points here tonight, and I'll let you do this play.
Dragons on the hand-up. Matheson going wide near side and got thrown down by the shoulder pads. Down she goes and taking exception to the tackle there. But in on the stop with Vixen was Madison. Madison Schmutz of Waconia, the high school at Roseville. And a pickup of 1 to just short of midfield. Second down and a long dive.
But with it being Memorial Day weekend, it'd be really cool if we got a whole bunch of folks down from Minnesota to pack St. Louis for that game.
I'll lead the caravan. You can just follow behind me. I know where the food is.
What are we talking about? 14-hour drive one way? And I thought my 5 hours.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And I thought my 5-hour drive today was long. Play action out of the flat to Steffes. Cuts back midfield. Vixen territory. 45, 40, 35, and out of the 34-yard line. Katrina Steffes on the catch and run, picking way through traffic. And shedding a couple of would-be tacklers, picks up a first down for the Dragon, their 4th of the ballgame. First down and 10 at the Vixen 35-yard line, 14-yard pickup on the catch and run.
You know, a little too late, but that's only the second completion of the half for Washington. So she's really going to have to step up these passes if they want to get an opportunity to come back in this game.
So the Vixen inside. Correction, the Dragons inside Vixen territory for just the 3rd time tonight. Out of the flat, complete to Steffes, almost showing a halfback option. Now pulls it down, heads upfield, and turns the corner, gets a 30, and out of bounds inside the 30, the 28-yard line. Did that look like a halfback option pass at one point?
It did for a quick second, and then something changed up, and she found Steffes there for the completion, and Tilford again with the tackle. Kind of rode her back out of bounds.
Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter. And the score, the Minnesota Vixens 50, the Wisconsin Dragons nothing. Town Square Television Game of the Week. We'll be back with more from Wisconsin after this timeout.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter, which means it is time for a little dance party. Who's got the best dance moves in the stands as we start the 4th quarter? Whoever wants to stay warm is going to have the best dance moves tonight. What's that? It'll be 2nd and 3 on the 20.
And we're back. And we'll let the talented Alex Westhead bring us home.
Well, thank
As
you.
the 4th quarter. Go ahead, Alex.
Jumped the gun there a little bit. Tom,
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Franklin High School, just outside of Milwaukee, a little bit
You
south.
can smell the brats.
You certainly can, that's for sure. I'm here with Tom Witchen. He just turned the broadcast over to myself. Again, Brian Sweeney will be joining you from St. Louis, Missouri, 2 weeks from today as the Vixen and the Slam in a game in a loaded with playoff implications, but of course that's 2 weeks from now. Iowa, the opponent next week at home at Koolman Stadium for the first time against the Minnesota Vixen. It'll be 2nd and 3 upcoming here for Wisconsin, deep in Minnesota territory. Ball spotted at their own 28-yard line. Again, 50-0 your score here. Start of the 4th quarter. It'll be Washington here out of the shotgun, 1 in the backfield. As Washington, high snap, pulls it down, hand off to the left side, looking to break the edge. She may have a hole, pushed out at the 15. Nice job of staying in bounds before knocked out of bounds nicely at the 12, out of the backfield. Nicole Matheson on the carry, on the sweep to the left. It'll be a first down for Wisconsin.
It is a gain of 16 yards.
16 yards all the way down to the 12-yard line. 5th first down of the ball game, 1st and 10, as the Dragons have their deepest penetration of the night.
First down.
Vixen will see if they can hanker down here to try to keep the shutout streak alive. They had a shutout last week against the Kansas City Titans at home. And into 3 quarters here tonight. Another shotgun formation, trips out to the right. 1 in the backfield with the quarterback, Kelly Washington. Whistles blow. We'll see if we have a timeout here. Looks like we have
Yeah, Vixen called timeout.
timeout Minnesota with 14:08 to go. Again, 50-0 your score here in this one.
Vixen fans, quality sports and performance care is found at Northwestern Health Science University at nwhealth.edu. Northwestern is the official integrative sports care provider of the Minnesota Vixens. Tough word, because Vixen athletes know that peak performance begins with good health. Coverage of the game of the week here on Town Square Television, brought to you in part by Northwestern Health Sciences University. And you mentioned Kansas City, their D1 program, and they've been kind of sliding down over the last couple of years. They used to be pretty potent.
Well, and ironically enough, you asked when the last time Minnesota scored more than 50 points. It was against Kansas City on May 14th of 2017 when Minnesota won 54-14. But that is not their highest scoring game of the year. That would be when they had 62 points against the Minnesota Machine.
That goes back a few years, right?
That was the same season, actually.
Okay.
2017.
Washington gets the snap, had trips to the right, fakes the handoff there, a throw to the right side, going backwards, brought her down. It was a catch on the attempted screen there by number 21, Katrina Steffes for Wisconsin, rather.
Is that Kate Murphy another time?
I believe it was.
Kilpert? 16 or 19.
A nice tackle for a loss, a huge loss there too. That'll back the Dragons up to their own, or to the Minnesota 20-yard line.
So we're going to see what's going to happen here. I mean, obviously, second down, a lot of distance to go. They're at the point of the game where Wisconsin just has to air the ball. They can't afford to run the ball anymore.
Well, the Dragons come up to the line here. Shotgun formation again for Kelly Washington. To the left, two, and a bunch formation off to that right side. Now Washington the snap. She'll drop back. Throwing here on the left side in the hands there of number 14 for Wisconsin, Caitlin Krug. A catch. Looks like she may have gotten the original line of scrimmage. Maybe one in addition. It'll be third down.
You know, and after the goal in the whole first half of the game, 0 for 5, Krug comes into the second half here, and she's right at 50%, where she's 2 for 4 with the balls that are thrown to her.
Marcani got the credited for the tackle. And the Dragons had a different running back in there, Nicole Filsky out of West Allis, Wisconsin. That's where the State Fairgrounds is, if I remember right, yeah.
It'll be third down and 18 here for Wisconsin from the Minnesota 20. It'll be a shotgun formation for Washington. Two out to the left, two to the right, one in the backfield with her. As Washington gets a snap, a high one, bobbles it briefly, able to pull it down. She's throwing deep on the left side, looking for Krug. Flag flies.
Interference.
And it'll be pass interference here. We'll see which way it goes.
Ashley Green is on the defense, but she may have got too much uniform. And the Vixen might be playing for the third penalty of the ball game.
Now, will be pass interference. That'll be Ashley Green on the coverage to get it. That'll be a first and goal situation here on the spot foul.
Ashley Green's a rookie this year, so she's still learning her role, learning the position. So, you know, obviously that's more of a mental error than anything. But with Minnesota's defense, I don't see it's going to be a problem. I think they're going to stop them.
And there's a first down here for Wisconsin on the foul.
Sixth first down of the ball game for the Dragons, but 3 of those on this drive. This drive started at their own 48-yard line.
The ball will be placed right about center of the field, close to the right hash mark.
Should be at the 3, right?
Ball spotted.
Oh.
First and goal from the just inside the 10-yard line. Again, 3 out to the left, 1 in the backfield, 1 out to the right. As a quarterback, Kelly Washington gets a snap. Handoff faked on the right side, incomplete as she was looking for Steffes. I thought that she was going to fake it there on a nice little chance for Matheson. Incomplete though. It'll be second down.
And that ball hit Steffes right in the hands. So when that happens, you have to pull that ball in.
So second and 10 upcoming here for Wisconsin from the Minnesota 10-yard line. And again, the frustration here, not a lot going here now that they're in the red zone. Not the first time, that second drive that Wisconsin had here in this ball game.
Are they playing running time? That was an incomplete pass.
There is a mercy rule in the WFA football that teams can ask for when the score is over 50-point differential. They may have asked for it.
Shotgun pass here for Washington. She'll await the snap. 3 out to the left. Gets the snap, pulls it down. Washington stepping up into the pocket. She'll evade it, rolling out to the left side, and she loses the ball. We'll see if it is. It's not ruled a fumble. Incomplete pass is ruled, as that was Madison Schmatz on the coverage. 11:02 and counting. 3rd down.
Yeah, she had to get the ball away there. Washington saw Schmatz coming down on her hard, and, Schmatz, you might as well say schmack, because she just comes down on you and she smots you to the ground. So they all, so many of these players, their nicknames, their last names really help with their position and how they play on the field.
Looks like Pelski will come back in as a running back.
3rd and goal upcoming here for Wisconsin. We'll see if the Vixen are able to hold them here. Certainly going for it on 4th down regardless. Washington again approaches the line of scrimmage. They'll send a player in motion from right to left across your screen as Washington awaits the snap. Can you hear the Vixen fans cheering loudly? Washington's throw into the basket there. A nice catch made by the receiver in the backfield. I believe that was Felski that made the catch for Wisconsin. Murakami on the coverage for Minnesota. 4th and goal.
In Murakami, we didn't talk about her much in the first half of the game, but the second half of the game, we've been name-dropping her nonstop.
Well, looks like Ryan and his coaching staff have starting to substitute freely. Now, the roster is not that deep, but I found out that just watching them, there aren't many players that go both ways.
No, Minnesota's a unique team in the WFA. They are lucky enough they have a large enough roster that actually when it comes down to game day, they actually have about a dozen players that they have to list as inactive.
4th and goal upcoming here. Again, split out 2 left, 2 right. 1 on the backfield with the quarterback, Washington. Vixen don't appear to be showing pressure, but it comes anyway. Thrown over everybody. Incomplete. Big defensive stand there for the Vixen. As looks like we have some arguing from the Wisconsin sideline, but it'll be a turnover on downs. Minnesota will get it 1st and 10 going the other way from their own 12-yard line with 8:50 and counting in this football game.
11-play drive, but the Vixen stood up tall in crunch time and slammed the door on the Dragon, and the Vixen will get the ball and maybe run off about 4 minutes off this clock.
Well, the Vixen so far tonight, that first drive they were held scoreless, but since then, points on every consecutive drive. It's been a very effective night offensively for Minnesota, and we'll see what they're able to do here. Again, the quarterback, Emily Evans, got the start, and now Connor Joe Lewis looking to close out the rest of this one. As Connor Joe will be in a pistol formation, split receivers, 2 left, 2 right, and 1 behind. As it'll be 2 in the backfield rather. And waiting for the snap. Thrown high there, nice completion there, run off to the right side, trying to break through, and a good tackle there made by Wisconsin on the carry. I believe that was number 20, Belvina McGrath. And then first to her defensively was Alexandria Meyer from Racine, Wisconsin. It'll be 2nd down and a good gain on that one. They'll give them the spot. 2nd and 2 upcoming.
McGrath with a couple of touchdowns, Cooper with a couple of touchdowns, and Nelson with 3. And the Vixen threw for a touchdown. Early in the ball game for staff.
2nd and 3 officially from the Minnesota 19 for the Vixen. As they approach the line, again, split receivers, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. It'll be a shotgun formation this time for Connor Joe, with 1 in the backfield to her left. She'll send a player in motion from left to right. Pulls it down with speed, trying to get around. Escapes 1 tackle. Moving through, trying to keep it moving on the far near side here. That's Andrew Vogt trying to make that play up the field, but she's stopped. They may give her a gain of a yard or 2, or they will give her the 1st down, as it'll be 3 yards on the rush and a new 1st down for Minnesota.
Yeah, it was just over 6 minutes and 38 seconds to go in this game here. I mean, Minnesota's done everything right tonight. I mean, that first drive Wisconsin had at the beginning of the game, I made the comment about the defense. You said, no, they're going to adjust themselves, and that's just what they did. And the defense has completely shut down the Dragons all evening.
It'll be a shotgun formation again here. 3 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 in the backfield. As the Vixen look into a pressure formation here. Not a whole lot of coverage back deep should they choose to take advantage. As Connor Joe gives the handoff here to McGrath, I believe, to the left side. She'll run, and she was able to escape one tackle before finally being pushed down after about a gain of 2 or 3 for Belvina McGrath. It'll be second down upcoming.
Imagine she had a couple of rushing touchdowns. Cooper has 1, and Nelson has 3. I was doing my math in my head, and I said, that's way too many touchdowns. I had about 56 points up there.
Well, when the score gets above 40, it is hard to keep track. I mean,
Yeah,
when it was 7-0 last week, it was so much easier.
Connor Lewis had the only touchdown last week.
Correct.
Against the Kansas City Titans. That was about a scoot down the near sidelines from, what, 25, 30 yards out?
Yep, just into the corner of the end zone there, right over the pylon.
2nd and 8 upcoming here for Minnesota from their own 27-yard line. 5-12 and counting here in this one. Extra play in the backfield. That's one in motion. That's Vogt going across left to right. As McGrath gets the handoff, trying to continue to move the pile. She got back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe another yard after that. It'll be 3rd down upcoming here for Minnesota.
Palsky coming in on the stop for the Dragon, along with help from Caitlin Konowitz. The young lady out of Chicago. They had a lot of young ladies from the Chicagoland area.
Well, up until 2 years ago, Chicago had the Chicago Force, which was a football team that was also playing in the WFA.
Is that where Carlos Jones got his start?
I believe so. I'm not 100% on that, but that would make sense now that he's here, in Milwaukee. But a lot of the players decided to come here when Chicago folded.
So 3rd and 7 upcoming here for Minnesota. Again, extra protection in the backfield. Everybody else out to the right except one. It's Connor Joe Lewis. Gets the snap. It's a high one. Pulls it down. Hands it into the backfield. Is running out here to the right side as that's McGrath again. Breaks through some holes. Trying to cut past. Evading the tackle almost, but she gets across to the 42-yard line. A nice run there by Belvina McGrath. Steffes on the tackle for Wisconsin. And another first down for the Vixen.
Another player down as well, unfortunately, for the Dragons, sitting right there on the 45-yard line. It's actually number 14, Krug, which is sitting down there. So we've got another injury timeout on the field.
Clock stop, 3:43 remaining here in this 4th quarter. 50-0. The Minnesota Vixen over the Wisconsin Dragons in this one. Again, next week, the Vixen first look at the Iowa Phoenix at home at 6 p.m.
How new is that
kickoff.
franchise?
This is their first season, actually. A few years ago, you had the Iowa Crush that were around back when Minnesota played in a different league. They folded last year. Another ownership group came in and kind of reenacted or resurrected the team, gave them a new name, a new identity.
The Phoenix.
Yes, like the rising of the Phoenix.
There you go.
So we'll see what happens next week. It should be an exciting game. I'm looking forward to it, as I look forward to every game.
Again, two more meetings with the Phoenix coming up, another meeting with the Dragons, and that'll close out the Minnesota home regular season schedule. That game will be on June the 1st against these Wisconsin Dragons. Otherwise, 2 other road meetings and 2 other home as well. Meanwhile, the Vixen approach the line here. Again, pistol formation. So they split them out, 2 left, 2 right. 1 is in the backfield. As Connor Joe looks back to the receiver, awaiting the snap, looks into the coverage. The Dragons appear to be applying pressure here on this one. Almost drew him offside. And a nice run up the middle. McGrath is able to get through a couple of Dragons. Gain of about 5 or 6. I thought I saw a flag come in. Another Dragon is down as well. I believe Trish Hassel down for the Dragons.
And it looked like another face mask penalty against the Wisconsin Dragons. And the Dragons not that deep on their roster, and they can ill afford to lose too many more players.
No, that's correct. I mean, next week, they're going to travel to Grand Rapids to play the Tidal Waves for the second time this season, which is just the game that they played last weekend when they won 20 to nothing. So hopefully they have a healthy enough roster to make that road trip. That's always a fear in the WFA is you start to get those injuries and then you can't make those road trips or you don't have enough players. When Kansas City was in Minnesota last weekend, you take away the 11 on the field, there was literally only 8 players standing on the sideline for substitutions.
And question, again, with home and home with the number of these teams, how come the Vixen don't step out and probably travel costs, but step out and play some of the other teams in Division 2?
Travel cost is the biggest thing. I mean, you're 100% correct there. It is. There are no lucrative contracts in women's football. Look what it's costing us to do these games. Now you multiply that by the roster.
Yeah, you were awful high pay. I know that. Alex is out the sky high. He broke the salary cap.
Inside of 3 minutes here to go. In this fourth quarter, as the Vixen will approach the line, another shotgun formation. Everybody in close, fairly so, as they split them out to left, to right. As Vogt goes in motion again, fake the handoff as Joe Lewis will race off to the left side. Stiff arming a Dragon, trying to get across for the first down. She has it. Excellent run by Connor Joe Lewis and a first down.
With that run by Connor Joe Lewis there, just under 2.5 minutes remaining in this game, I mean, the Minnesota just has to push the ball a few more times and then go into the victory formation. But, we can call the game as over at this point, obviously.
Well, the ball spotted here, 1st and 10 for Minnesota for a drive that started at their own 12-yard line. They have moved very well up the field. This is the 7th play of the drive. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Wisconsin 32-yard line, And Connor Joe Lewis again out of the shotgun formation. 1 off to the left, 3 to the right. As again, the Wisconsin defense showing pressure, especially on the right side. As Lewis pulls it down, a handoff to McGrath, trying to escape the edge, has a Dragon fall down. She finds the seam. McGrath racing across the 5 to the 10. She's pushed out of bounds just across the 3-yard line, and another Dragon is down. Fortunately for Wisconsin, able to help herself back to her feet. But a huge run there for Belvina McGrath inside a minute and a half. Yes, she is.
Yeah, that was number 72, Lisa Hoschild. That was a little bit slow to get up there for the Dragons. She stopped the touchdown. Let's put it that way. But luckily, she got herself back up. It's going to be 1st and goal for Minnesota.
Belvina looking to put up the hat trick herself.
You don't see that in football very often. I know it's one of my favorite calls in hockey, that's for sure.
Inside a minute remaining here. We'll see if the Vixen will attempt anything for the end zone or if they'll simply line it up and go victory formation.
Now, there is no play clock, but to the referees.
If you watch the umpire standing underneath the goalpost right now, he'll put his arm straight up in the air, and he's looking at his watch. And then when it gets down to 10 seconds left, he'll actually start bouncing his arm so that the quarterback knows. See, there it goes right there.
McGrath in the backfield alongside Lewis. Lewis, the whistle blows. I wonder if they got the play off that time.
But this being a high school stadium, and most high school stadiums don't have play clocks.
Yep, so they make do with what they can.
So the clock will stop at it did stop at 30.5, and now it runs again. This should run it out. And again, the Vixen will take the 5 steps back. Clock continues to wind. And again, a decisive victory here for Minnesota, 50-0 over the Wisconsin Dragons. That's exactly what they will allow it to do. They would just simply take the penalty in this instance and back them up. And that should do it. 50-0. The Minnesota Vixen victorious for the 4th consecutive time this season and the 2nd overall against the Wisconsin Dragons.
And again, 4-0 on the season. The Wisconsin Dragons finish at 3-2. This is our Town Square Television Game of the Week. At Town Square Television and online at townsquare.tv. We'll be back to summarize this game and have much more here from Franklin High School after this timeout. And we're back. Again, the Vixen led at halftime, 36-0. In fact, they scored on 7 straight possessions and tacked 2 more touchdowns on here in the second half. First drive of the second half, They went 31 yards, and the fumble recovery, the only turnover of the ball game, fumble recovery, and the Vixen had the short field to go, 31 yards in sixth place. Jeanette Nelson finished the night with her third touchdown, rushing out of the ball game. Point after go was 43-0. And then the next possession for the Vixen at the 7:18 mark of the third quarter, and they went 51 yards this time. And Belvina McGrath scoring her second touchdown of the ball game from 2 yards out. And point after was a good 50-0. The Dragons had their deepest drive of the ball game as they used up almost 4 or 5 minutes off the clock. Picked up 3 first downs on the drive. 3 of their 5 first downs of the ball game got down to the 10-yard line, but the Vixen threw up the wall, and that was it. And the Dragons come away pointless. And that runs the score. The clock ran out as we were playing running time. 50-0 was the final. And Brian, you've got some quick stats in this ball game.
Not a lot of stats for the second half. I mean, Minnesota threw the ball one time. It fell incomplete. Washington went 5 for 13 for the half for a total of 11 for 28 on the game. I think the biggest stat of this game is Tank Nelson with her 3 touchdowns. She only had 9 total carries. So she scored on a third of the times that she touched the ball. So, I mean, that alone is pretty exciting. I mean, McGrath, 13 total carries, including a touchdown. Lewis, 3 carries total for the game. Cooper, 10 total for the game, including her touchdown. So, I mean, all in all, Minnesota showed dominance on the offense. They showed dominance on the defense. And there really wasn't a way for Wisconsin to compensate, to make adjustments.
And I would say that the other thing that you notice, too, about Tank Nelson is that when she's carrying that ball, too, it's not just the little 1 or 2 yard scampers from right in the goal line. That big, I think it was 67-yard rush where she just took it up the field and shook through a whole number of Dragons. It was very impressive. And, again, just it's a testament to how this the Minnesota Vixen are able to attack you from any of a number of ways. And they look very lethal when you watch the film and when you look at the stats.
Yep, and you look at the defense. You had Sil Winton with a number of tackles. You had Schmatz with tackles. Red Bryant getting in there again, even in her 21st season. Minnesota fumble recovery on top of that. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota played well on both sides of the ball, and the scoreboard shows it.
All right, home and home with the Iowa Phoenix at Coleman Stadium next week. Sean Parker and Kelly Schultz will have the call of that game. You and Alex, you'll be down in St. Louis. And not sure what stadium they use down there.
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I know it's a Catholic school about 3 miles south of the heart of the city in St. Louis. So that's a season for the Vixen. If they want to be at home in the playoffs, if they want to avoid traveling to Mile High or Houston even based on how that schedule breaks down, really that's the game that you circle on your calendar. You want a great showing against St. Louis in a couple of weeks.
And for the Dragons, they head to Grand Rapids, Michigan for their next contest. With that, it's time to run the credits here on the broadcast. Have to give a big shout out to Michael Davidson back in Master Control. Of course, Tony Stenga, our producer, our engineer, the Silver Fox, Tom Ritchie, our camera people, James Ramsey, and the better half of the Sweeney duo, Logan Sweeney, is on camera. And my thanks to Brian Sweeney and Alex Westhead. Thank you, gentlemen.
It was a lot of fun. Tom, what did you think of your first women's football game from this point of view?
I was impressed. I went in thinking that the pace of the game was not going to be NFL or college, but
2 hours and 20 minutes.
What I was most impressed about was line play, defense and offensive line both ways. That's what impressed me the most.
Well, I mean, really, it was we talked about it throughout the game, but that offensive-defensive line play, that was the difference in this ballgame, where the Vixen had control on both sides, and they were able to really move the protection, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to get into the backfield and cause those disruptions where if you looked at how that line played, you're not surprised at the outcome tonight.
All right, the Town Square Game of the Week here on Town Square Television. For the crew, I'm Tom Merchant from Sullivan Field here on the campus of Franklin High School in suburban Milwaukee. We say good night, everybody. Hey, we'll talk again next week.